Hello Internet and welcome back to Rail Survival, a Space Engineers series where, my golly, I think we might be almost there. There's a little bit left to do, but I believe we have a working train, we have a rail network, we are nearing the end game here. And I figured where better to take in all of that we have done than up here at really one of the first major projects was the solar tower. We can look out, see the rail yard, all the track in the distance. I mean, it's easy to get kind of in the weeds on making everything work, but just looking out over the sprawl of stuff. I need to do this more often, because this really drives home how absolutely cool all this is. But we can only contemplate how cool things are for so long. So, I think the plan today, I want to get everything kind of finished up. I want to get all the rail cars built. I want to finish the control tower. Honestly, those are kind of the two main big things. I need to continue putting out anti-rock turrets along the track, which is probably actually what I'm going to undertake first because, well, with all the work we've done to get the trains working, to get the little cars moving along, I really feel like we need to test more. Actually take some time and verify, okay, this thing does its job in the real world without issue. I think it does. We did a little bit of testing. It was able to go get some more and come back. Let's start doing these things while I talk about them. But yeah, I'm gonna send the iron car off. Let me just real quick. Here. We'll take a fresh blueprint just so I know that everything is kind of as it should be. Which is that? Yep, that's one. I should really put numbers on the tracks, that way I can kind of check from the sky here. So we'll send this guy off. Let's remote in real quick. Stop it. And take our blueprint. With a screenshot. I don't know why it doesn't auto take screenshots anymore. Anyway. Then we can... Yep, send it on its way. Hopefully all the tracks are set. I mean, it's not an issue, but yeah, looks like it'll route all the way back to iron. So I'm gonna let it do that, get to the other end. I'm gonna check it, make sure it's all good again, let it fill fully up, and then come back. And I kind of want to do that before I build the rest of the cars. I want to verify that this actually is able to make these treks. I should probably also, even though it's not quite proper, I'm going to send the iron train to get magnesium. I want to see, and while I'm thinking about it, gonna send it to get magnesium, and I'm gonna turn off the braking thing. I need to see if these cars can hold their speed at I think, did I set it to 10 or did I even slow it down more? I think it's 10 kph, which is less meters a second, but I can't remember. But yeah, braking thing, I think permanently off. It should be out of the way. So the iron car should come all the way down here, and I will determine if it is able to slow itself on this descent. If I miss it actually doing it, which there's every chance I will, hold on, do I? No, I don't still have a little halt signal up there. I could throw one together, but I think I'm just going to try and keep an eye on it. If it can slow itself on that descent, that means I can get rid of those, which saves a little bit of complexity. And I feel like that's the hardest scenario, right? My whole challenge with these things has been maintaining and managing their speed so they don't go fast enough to break themselves. I think I've made that work, but we have to test it. So anyway, while that's happening, we do have plenty of iron, maybe, hopefully. I have no idea if we have other stuff. But I've got a tower to finish. Most of that's going to involve just welding a bunch of steel. But it gives me something to do while, I guess I could have gotten stuff from up there. It gives me something to do while I wait for that train, because it's going to take a long while to fill up. Oh, also, I should probably... Is this thing dead? I think it only runs the engine when I'm driving. I should probably either move that back or continue it along. Because it's not great to just leave it sitting there burning its batteries. I believe... I think I had a turret somewhere. Yeah. So I've got a turret there. And I think I have some down here. Yep. That should be good enough. Conveniently, the meteors only fall around me. Ow. So that should be good enough to protect while I'm working here. The only issue is, well, one, if I'm wrong, or if I decide to move out somewhere for whatever reason, and I'm somewhere where there is not protection from meteors along the track. It might be able to hit out there. Maybe I should do... I said I was going to do the turrets first. Maybe I should. Something I can do as well. Let's see if this works. So if I show on HUD, hopefully... No. Dang. I was hoping... that they would transmit, because I have an antenna I should be within range of. But it did not seem to. That might just be a glitch. I don't know. But we'll do it the old-fashioned way. You know, it has honestly been a while since we had a rock incursion. I almost need one to happen so that I can verify all this junk works. Oh. That was the sound of something, but I don't think it was meteors. I believe we're about to get another radiation storm. Though I realized, and, you know, with the fast-acting power of generic allergy medicine that reworked the color of the sky, these radiation storms don't actually do enough, quick enough to really kill me. Like, it doesn't feel good, but, and Watch me be very wrong on this. But I'm pretty sure they're quick enough I can actually survive them. Which kind of takes any last little bit of worry out of the equation. This might be the last turret I have to play, or that I have the components to place. In fact, it's one beyond that. Ow. I think we have enough time to fly home. Hopefully the storm is gone soon. And then we can jet back over and see what's going on with the train. We're also quickly approaching ouch levels of radiation. I think it starts at 75. Yep. Okay, I was a little wrong. Maybe the storms have variable length. That's somewhat inconvenient, but... okay, it is dropping. Got worried for a second. Good thing we have remote operations. You just put on my fancy VR headset and... Where am I? More cars over here. We won't be able to get a particularly accurate speed reading from this. It is climbing right now and is going rather slowly. That could be another thing. We dropped the wheel power output a little bit, which did help with some of the lurching, but it might need that power to make it up hills, especially when fully laden with junk. Okay, I believe this is the downward pitch. We won't necessarily be able to tell a ton without a direct speed reading, but the main thing essentially is, does this wreck into the end post? If it doesn't, that means that it is effectively slowing itself. And actually, see how it's kind of jerking back and forth? I think that is it applying its reverse, getting below speed, and then accelerating above. That whole awkward kind of on and off again it does. But it does seem to be going nice and slow down this. Which means at least empty, it has enough power to support itself sort of backwards.
Meteor storm inbound.
Ooh. Okay, and there's a meteor storm. I'm gonna drop out of that. The radiation has dropped enough. Where are these meteors coming from? And are they happening over there? So that's part of my worry, was they could be going that direction. And or Maybe they're going no direction. Or they happened already. Ow. Maybe that was one that was just very small. Well, okay. Never mind those, I suppose. It's made it to the bottom. Nice slow speed. Locked. It is still set to unload, so I'm glad I came over here. Okay. Magnesium is pumping and it is loading up. We'll keep doing these turrets while it does its thing. And hopefully, once it's full, it's able to successfully make it back. Now, I've not done this in a while, but it's right over. Whoops. There we go. It's right over here. Let's see what's in one of these guys. Oh, it's one of the bigger ones. Will I get anything? I got something, but I don't know what it is because I already had it. So that is cool. And actually, so I was heading back because I'm out of steel, which means I couldn't build any more turrets. But this is all, well, not all steel, but, you know, a good chunk. Yeah, we'll grind it down, catch up with the train. Then maybe I just stop it where it is and take a few more out. Oh. Scrap metal and some seeds. Useless to me now. Where is the locomotive? There it is. Come back here, you. Right. Okay, why am I not... There we go. Wasn't getting it. And honestly, because of the lack of forward view, I don't sit in the cockpit very often in this, but I really should. There's something kind of nice about just watching the scenery go by. It was suggested earlier on to put the welders on hinges so I could drop them out of the way. And I probably should have, but you know, it's functionally not all that important. It is kind of interesting too to travel along without being able to know what's ahead of you. Alright. That's... how far was this? Yeah, that'll be good. Been aiming for roughly every 400 meters. That way there's a little bit of overlap. Oh. Dang it. This is the last one. We're right at the mouth of the canyon. Alright. See if we can make it back home without splattering into something. I can just see track peeking out from the fog. Oh, speaking of.
Your health is low.
Okay, that was a rock in the air, not me hitting something on the ground, but does make my chances of survival very slim. Hopefully this guy will have enough. Oh. Okay. I was prepared for this. So I put one in here in the middle of the canyon Just because I was like, well, if I have... Yeah, if I have enough parts, I might as well. Just in case one happens to kind of come right down in here. But I didn't have enough parts for it and the one up here. The one up here, I feel like is more important, even though there's a potential that it will shoot off wind turbines. So we're gonna just build this one and hope that it plus the trench plus the one at the other end of the trench kind of provide enough coverage. There's also the reality that I'm not at this end of everything very often. So there's every chance that this will never get used. So now I just get to piddle around with stuff down here until, well, until I think the magnesium train is full. I guess I should be able to check it. Ah. There we go. That'll show us less than all the magazines of ammo we built. Okay. So, yeah, that's magnesium getting pulled in. One container's full, one is just started. That's pretty good. That's our ore. No, ore and powder. So we've got quite a bit of magnesium on hand, considering you don't use very much of the stuff. So we don't really need this load, but it'll be a good test, and, you know, honestly, I probably should have sent it. I could have sent it to Silicon and gotten the same results. Also, I don't know why that one doesn't have railing. Oh, probably because I meant to change it and didn't? Yeah, those are all... Oh, no. That's on the bottom. That's right. I was doubling these up because... Well, because I was.
Meteor storm inbound.
Alright. Meteors coming in. Let's see if they actually show up. And more importantly, if our guns shoot them. Oh, they're hitting somewhere. Yeah. There was a gun over here. I didn't hear any bulleting. Ha! Haha! Look at it go. Oh, yep. There's more. It may just be that I'm too far out of range, but... Or too far out of range to hear them. Yeah, because I just came in as that one was firing. Yeah, they took him out. Now, hopefully they do that when I'm not close to them and I just can't hear it happening. Which is a bit of a bummer. I was hoping to just hear random gunfire in the distance. But, at the very least, that should mean that the track is protected. And that's the important thing. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, okay. Well, let me place these guys. I intended to have the hinge kind of fully hidden and recess, you know. I intended for those to be full blocks. Full blocks don't work there, so we just won't. In truth, I should probably be doing all of this with half blocks because it's cheaper, but I don't really care about materials. I have enough, I think. Using more materials just means I have an excuse to run more trains more often. Which, speaking of, let's do a quick inventory. Okay. it is going to take a while to fill up that second car with magnesium, just because, well, there was a little stockpile when it first started, so it wasn't, even though one container was full, that wasn't halfway through the time it takes to fill. That's okay, because I've got a lot to do here. Ooh. Yeah, we'll give one of these fancy doors a try. Probably with glass. This looks like it's essentially just a... Oh! No, okay. Takes up the same space as a sliding door, but without the sliding. How novel. I need to do lighting, but I need to do lighting up here as well, so we can get to that in a minute. I'm tempted. I think I'm gonna put a door in here. Maybe another one of these, actually. And I'll have a little balcony out here. May even... just do a little something something to blend all this together. But yeah, a little balcony here just so that I can quickly and easily fly up. Because the convenience of that is hard to beat. Now, I may end up running out of silicon doing this, which is going to be a little inconvenient, but hopefully once we're done, maybe the sun will be up and we can run the mag train back fully laden. I'd say overall, this place has come together pretty good. Except for that. Yeah. Nice surround views. Oh. Something I don't have that I do need. Probably shouldn't have just done that because I needed that connection, I think, but... where is our thingy? Ah. We really should have an air vent. Yep. Definitely need parts. That's okay. Oh. Okay, it is a little cozy to take off from there. And a little awkward to land, but not horrible. There we go. So now this space is all pressurized. Was I... oh. Okay, those look weird because of the angles and the probably overly aggressive lighting. But I think that's fine.
Fuel low.
Oops.
Fuel critical.
Let's fix... come on, there we go. Let's fix our fuel. And then check in on our magnesium. Yeah. It's gonna be a while. I don't know, I'll keep doing stuff, waiting for it to fill up, and hopefully it won't take too long. It'll be the blink of an eye for you all, but I have to sit here and, you know, live through it in real time. So what I could do... I thought about this, is setting up a system so that I am alerted when one of those guys runs out of ammo. Though the issue with what we discovered earlier, say I tell this guy to show on HUD. No, it did. Haha. So, what I can do, and oh boy, it's gonna get rough. So there are 25 of these turrets. I kind of want to have a system where I have an event controller watching, and if a turret runs out of ammo, it lights up to alert me, hey, I need to take more ammo to it. The issue is, I need 25 event controllers to do that. Now, I believe... oh. Okay, that's Goat. This one's Tetris. There we go. Now I know what this does. If I put another computer up here, I'm curious if I have a script. I think I might. That can do what I want of it here. Okay, does not look like it. I have no idea how to actually do scripting. I could try and learn real quick. I am just sitting here waiting on things to happen. That seems like a lot of effort for one quick little something. I think what we're gonna do instead dang, I was hoping I could reach that without having to actually go in here. One 5x5 wall of event controllers should do it. Does... it's gonna stick out a bit. So can I can stack them like this. That's 12. I should be able to squeeze 25 into this cube area. It's probably not wise to do, but when has wisdom stopped me before? 24, 25, 26. Give that the appearance of being an entire giant cube of logic. If I get rid of that one, that brings us back down to 25 and gives me the ability to put a controller on here. Okay. We have our cube of logic. I'm going to rename all of these to event controller anti-rock turret, and now what I need to do is number all of these turrets and all of their associated event controllers so that I can link up the correct ones. Unfortunately, I also can't change their conditions in bulk, even though they're all going to be the same. So, event controller anti-rock 1. If cargo filled is equal or less than 0 on...
No energy.
Uh-oh. That's not a great time to start dying. Ah! That's also not a great thing. Although I think that did recharge me a bit. Alright. As I was saying, anti-rock 1. If cargo is equal or less than 0 on anti-rock turret 1, anti-rock turret 1 will show on HUD on. Otherwise, show on HUD goes off. Something too to make this system work. Is there... Dang. With antenna, I think you can change what color they pop up as. I don't believe there's any way to do that with just a block showing on HUD. Because it would be nice to make them red and then I'm going to notice them. But I'll just have to... Hopefully it's better than me having to manually sort through every one and check their inventory, so... At the very least, hopefully it helps me notice a little quicker. And of course, because Space Engineers is super intelligent, these are not ordered counting, they're ordered based on digits, with no way to change that. So, this is gonna get convoluted. Okay. I think that's all correct. Just making sure I marked equal and less than on all of them. I'm not gonna bother digging through the actual programming to make sure they're all assigned to the right things. I think that's good. So now, when one of our guns ends up running out of juice, it should pop up somewhere in, well, it should be wherever it is, but it should start showing, and we will know, oh, that section of track is no longer protected, we probably need to fix that. Let's see, that's nickel, that's magnesium. Let's check our magnesium train. Oh, it's so close. Okay. Well. Do I want to try and use more connectors to see if I can control these buttons? I'll do a quick test and just see if it works. Okay. Sci-fi button panel. No. Doesn't look like I have the ability to dynamically control each little screen. Which I guess isn't really a problem because they would light up the same way that this lights up, so, you know, it's... I know which one things are connected to. So that's currently set to the action relay. Let's eat real quick. I realized something else. As cool as it is to be able to press a button and have the train know to reverse when the time comes to reverse, I could just... Oh right, this gets controlled from the main thing. That's why I didn't have a button for it. Yeah, I realized, as cool as it is, I don't really need this. It adds a bunch of extra complexity, and I can actually just, once the train stops, remote into it. Let's check again. Oh, it's so close. 5K more. See, the issue here, I'm out of stuff to do. I'm antsy. I want to just get this test done because I want to do this before I build more. Maybe the issue, maybe I just need to walk away for a minute and, you know, hope that the turrets and everything kind of keep me safe while I stand here. Alright, it looks like my time has come. The containers on board, both are full. We're stocking up a little bit, but it'll keep doing that until whenever it turns off. You'll notice I killed the time with a couple things. I have some nice colorful buttons. The colors match the colors on the board up here, more or less. So I can, you know, quickly and easily be like, okay, I need to launch the nickel or magnesium. Also labeled up here, and you'll notice the windows are different. I realized these windows are nice and feel correct for this sort of space, but you can't see down without, well, you can't even easily jump up on the counter, and you have to do that to look down at what's going on. That seemed kind of silly, so now I have these just kind of full length. I can look down, see all my track below. That extends out along all of this, so I can, you know, observe the goings-on of the railroad. I also flipped this door because it bothered me. And well, I could be inside, but I'm not. So I'll go over here. I'm not going to launch the train from the button because there's something else I want to do. I think first, because the sun is setting, maybe first I figure out how I can put my railings back up. I don't know if I think the occurrence here ended up not being in the video where it happened, but the railings fell off recently. And I'd like them back, but the issue is this light used to hold them. That was some of the trick. But the light no longer works. Unless it does and they've fixed it. Let's find out. Nope. See, that's no longer a connection point. But I can do that. There we go. So I'm going to take a nap. When I wake up, the sun will be rising, and then we'll go and do the train stuff. Alright. Off we go. Well. And back in we go because I forgot I need things. Let's just kinda get some steel because it's usually useful. That's probably too much junk. Whatever. So my plan here, turn on our headlights because the sun hasn't quite reached us yet. I want to see how this thing handles a full load, and I kind of want to watch it pretty intensely. So, ooh, perfect. I can even point it the right direction. Yeah, cool. It's thumpy over here. So I'm gonna have a little ride-along seat. A little bit precariously perched, but that's fine. Now I can kind of ride along and actually watch what's happening, see the speed, see guns shoot down rocks. That should work. Alright. Real quick. This may break when I launch it, but here we go. Nope. There go the turrets defending us. Here we go at barely any speed. Are we going to make it up the hill? Yeah. Actually, I mean, It is barely any speed. This is incredibly slow for space engineers. But this is the speed they go. I've just never really been sitting on one watching it. We seem to be climbing just fine. Which does make sense, because even though the wheels are less powered than they used to be, they're still very, it's overkill for the size of vehicle we have, because it's all-wheel drive. And it's not like a real train where, you know, friction is intentionally minimized. These things these are proper road tires on function. I mean, blocks are slipperier than voxel in game, generally speaking, but we're able to move. We're able to climb, and the power is good enough that we aren't stalling. So now I get to sit here as the sun blinds me and see if we can actually make it the whole way around without damaging anything. I'll be back when something happens. Alright, we've leveled off. We're ticking up to 3 meters a second. Blindingly fast. You can also tell by the gentle rocking back and forth that we are applying and unapplying the brake, which I do wonder if there's a performance hit to this, like for the actual game processing. Obviously in real life this sort of maneuver would just be increasing mechanical wear for no good reason, but that's not really an issue in the digital world. And that's a little more fun. I reworked the seats, because honestly, they aren't useful, really. But if you've got trains, you kind of want to ride the trains. So I may incorporate these into all the designs. Some little tag-along seats for people. And it means my view now has a little bit of my brain is really struggling with these because I've bastardized what it means to be a train. But I have a bit of rail vehicle in my view as I'm looking down the track, which really kind of sells the vibe in a way that sitting at the very front doesn't. You know, I was just thinking, this could have been a great opportunity for a time lapse of sort of riding the rail. But I think this up and down wave motion we have would really make that nauseating. Imagine this happening at, you know, rapid speed. There are probably some tricks to sort of stabilize the video and get rid of it. But it's also sandy and dusty and dark. I don't know, you know, it would be kind of interesting, but I'm just sitting here watching it and I'm not thrilled. So, I don't know. I think maybe we give that one a pass and come back with a stabilized spectator cam at another date. Oh. And speaking of, the dust has cleared. We can now see what's going on. Not that much has changed. I could probably fine-tune this whole thing, make it so that I can run things, you know, run the trains quicker on straightaways and have a sensing mechanism to slow everything down when I need to. Oh. That felt bad. Hold on. Oh. Why? Hold on. You keep at it. Something here. At sharing inertia tensor. Ah. If I remember, shear inertia tensor for some reason on this one makes it bounce really awkwardly. But maybe that was just at a different point in time. I don't know, but what we just experienced was not fun. I don't want to do it again, so I think we're gonna hope everything just keeps working there. And I can report we did not exceed, I think, 3.05 meters a second was our maximum there, which should be within tolerance. I could probably up the limit, up the velocity that it sort of kicks in its brake, and then that would mean on certain stretches we get, you know, a little quicker because, well, no, because it would always cut off below that, so it would still be allowed to free. It would basically, how the system works currently, I can set the maximum speed it will ever go. So if I raise that, it means it will be going faster at the end, and I don't want that. I could implement a second event controller. Basically, instead of one event controller flipping back and forth, it would be if it goes over a certain speed, it applies the brake. Once I'm under a different speed, it turns off the brake. That might be better. But this works, and I think it's probably going to be... I don't know. I don't know if that would be the better way to do it. I don't really have a good reason not to. Except, as I recall... what does this guy do? Yeah. So the only reason not to is that right now all the blocks are lovely and balanced and look good up here. Everything is symmetrical. If I wanted to, if I add one more event controller, I need either two or I need to put it somewhere. Oh, this is something I knew was happening, but I forgot about it. Good thing the brake works. We can control it from here. And... oh, I'm also going to need to set this guy. Yeah. Perfect. Don't know where this guy came from. But that is another important test. Even fully loaded, we do stop well before the signal. And that involves our decreased sensor range. So that whole system is working like a treat. Now the only thing to see is, will it actually connect at the other end? The one downside of the dangle train setup, it's not quite as satisfying watching the train come in, because it's, you know, even if I turn off those, it's kind of just a blob under there, as opposed to like being able to see something move along the top of a track. Okay. It locked. I didn't see any smoke. Let's go down and see if we can't unload and, you know, just check for general damage. Alright. Yeah, no damage anywhere. Everything looks correct. It's unloading its cargo. I think we've got a winning design. Okay. Steps of the process. Let's go up first. We'll send this back to iron this time. Actual real iron. I should have done this button first, because then I could have launched it from up there too. Though I need to be down here to take a blueprint, so... And while I'm thinking about that, get rid of that. Alright. So we launch. We remote in. We hit stop. We blueprint. Then remote in again. Send it on its way. It will go to its iron, start filling there, and we get to build some more. I'm also going to make this little upgrade that I thought about. We can go ahead and start doing that. Though I do want to add the wheels once it's time. So this is going to be a one-way switch. Similar to how the last one's kind of worked. It should detect things from that direction, not detect stuff from this way. Therefore, if anything accidentally gets sent backwards down the track, it doesn't go off the end and crash into the welding pit. Alright. So that, when it detects something, it will set the velocity up, which moves the signal up. Something coming from the other way will stop before the sensor can sense it, keeping it safe. And because we care about safety, we'll paint it in such a way that it doesn't matter for anyone, but looks cool. Okay. This guy looks welded. Yep, showing complete. Perfect. I don't know how many of these we actually have, you know, ready to go in terms of resources. I guess I can check. So our ore and ingots, that's going to be the main thing because we can always produce stuff. Nickel is dangerously low. We've got all the nickel we're going to get, but so nickel ore is low, but we've got plenty of nickel, ton of silicon, ton of iron. Gold, pretty low, but we shouldn't need much of it. Plenty of silver. I think we should be good. The assembler's not trying to produce anything, so that's a good sign. Get this on here. Go ahead and paint all of the stuff that gets changed between cars. And yeah, wheels are all on. Should be safe. There we go. Reset this guy. Then we can take an actual blueprint and get this sort of set up and ready to go for real. So now we replace that. All of the things are off again, so that's cool. But it's much easier to line up, and then I have a glowing pink bar of, hey, put me here. Okay. So that's ready. Now, what did we actually need? We still had plenty of nickel, but I think nickel is low. Yeah, and it's gonna be the most important thing, I think, ore-wise. We've got a ton of silicon. Silicon's probably third, but nickel for all the motors and various other things in here we're gonna need. Containers say nickel. Antenna set to nickel. We should be good to send this guy out. Let's get the next one printing while we do so.
Meteor storm inbound.
And then do this quick because I forgot I can't do that. Oh boy. Off it goes. I may have to manually add some wheels. The signal worked. That's cool. Oh nope, it welded all the wheels. So that'll go on to the end of here, because I've not set that up yet. I'll wait for this one to finish printing. Then I'll go get the ore car, or get the nickel car directed to where it needs to go. Then I can come back, modify this guy, and keep stuff moving out. So we need our yard hold signal. Then we need to swing over to our shed track position. The ore car should start moving forward. And I'm just, oh boy. For my Sandy's sake and to save a little time, I will use my superior vision to, just make sure this was actually down. So I had a whole complex mechanism to allow me to press a button here and reverse the ore car for the nickel. Which is cool, but a pain in the butt. What I can do instead is just remote control, and I know it was in reverse, so now if I trigger forward, it should start going. Maybe it won't. Nah, it did. Though I forgot to switch the track. Hold on. Stop. Backwards. So because the sensors switch off, triggering the reverse, I can just do that from here like I would if I were manually controlling the thing. Hopefully it... Hold on. Okay, except for I may have broken it. Dang it. Okay. Well, I think it's fixed now. Let's... Nope. Let's go ahead. So I need it to go nickelward, which is middle track. And flip that guy. Yeah. Cool. It will now head off towards nickel. And everything should still be working. We'll see if it makes it. I think I may have slapped too many controls too quickly and caused it to freak out with the handbrake. So now we've got another locomotive. Start pulling it back. This guy... Yeah, I think this guy should be silicon.
Energy low.
Visibility is not incredible, and I'm about to be radiated to death. Let's go ahead and... send this guy forward, which means reverse. Uh-oh.
Energy
Oh.
low.
Uh-oh. Okay, we'll fix that in a minute. Fascinating. One of my turrets is showing, which means it's out of ammo. That's something else I can do. There we go. That is a good sign, though. That means they're, one, they're working, and two, I can notice when they're out. Alright. Have some ammo. You brilliant defender, you. Guess I should scan its area to make sure it didn't have a lapse in defense. Nope, looks good. Alright. This guy desperately trying to drag itself away. Here. We'll free it and clean up the mess. Okay. Guess we keep going. Check our... Yep, our assembler's not producing anything. At this point, I've built and ground down so many of these, we probably do have enough stuff. And just a quick sanity check. Yeah, all looks good. Assuming this was silicon? I think it was. Yeah. And off it goes. I may wait. So I know that from right here, 400 meters is a stop signal. So we should be clear. Granted, I don't need to send anything back this way. So I don't need to change the signal again. I can just keep sending stuff out. Which I think, given how things are set up, this guy should be cobalt. Because with cobalt, I only have to switch the silicon. Well, I have to switch the cobalt and silicon, but it means I keep going for further, which means I don't have to rush quite so quickly back to the tower. So I should probably have put the name in the grid name, so this part was easier. But I can generally go by distance. In which case, I probably want to send it off from here. So silicon, I believe, is on its own track by now. Off you go. For some reason, the handbrake is off in the blueprint, but that shouldn't be an issue, hopefully. Because I'll manually be launching them each time. So if that one's off to cobalt, this one should be gold. And because we can, gold-plated train. Though, I think we want it a little bit. Yeah, that's gold. Beautiful. And the track should be set such that I can send this on its way. I just have to kind of keep an eye and switch over once the cobalt is on its correct branch. Okay, we are starting to produce a couple little things. That might be normal, because I don't know how much. Right, if we're just dipping a little bit into our reserve. Yeah, we should be safe. But if we start producing either big things or... Oops, I forgot the wheels. Cool. I probably don't have to rush near as much to get those wheels on. Apparently it's very generous. Ooh. Yeah, that's an issue. That's what I was concerned about. We're now producing a lot of stuff. I think everything's gotten built on here. But if I do too many of these too quickly, I'll outpace my production queue, and then, well, I won't actually be building a train. I'll be building half a train that won't run, probably. Or I'll be building 95% of a train and miss one key event controller that stops it from exploding. Alright. So I believe the last two we need are magnesium, which we've sort of been depicting in this cartoonishly lighter blue. And then the last one will be silver. Though... Well, no, it shouldn't matter. Because I could send silver first and it'll get to its destination first. But I don't care so much about destination, I care about it clearing the switch, and they'll get to the switch at the same time regardless. Alright. We'll come back and do the last one, but I need to do some switching first. So, gold. Okay, two things. Cobalt has just passed its mark, and gold has passed its mark. So I can switch that over. Set that so magnesium goes to magnesium. Switch the gold over to gold. And the lines should all be set correctly. If I look, that's gold. Cobalt is approaching its final stop. Oh, I didn't mean to make that shiny. I can go fix that real quick. The danger of having everything under bright lights. I guess I could keep it shiny, but yeah, that's better. Anyway, it should be going its way. Which means I just have to build one more. Production queue is empty. I think in reality I set up everything correctly after the first time's building, to where I can actually just print all of these at once, because I have enough stockpile to kind of cover them all. This is good too. So I'm not seeing any cars antenna that I shouldn't. The only ones still in transit are gold and magnesium, which are coincidentally the two longest transits on the line. But everything else looks like it docked correctly. As I'm saying that, I see a new thing pop up and I panicked for a second, but it's just a sweet baby train being born. Look, it's sleeping soundly, as all newborns do. Alright. Last but not least, shiny again, and probably just brilliant white. Yeah, for that nice silver sheen. Alright, and off she goes. I almost wish I was doing this in the daytime, but once it leaves the line of the shed, I can't really see much anyway. Gold is on its way. Magnesium is there. I think that's okay. That's magnesium. I'm pretty sure this is silver. Yes. Which means I can now switch the silver line. My board is lit up nicely with all the cars in their respective places. I think things are going along well. And I think that's where we're going to call it for today. That is progress. That is, I mean, we're done. We're here. We got trains. Now, the last thing to do is going to be next episode, and I think next episode might be the finale, folks. So, I guess I should reveal what I'm planning on so that people can get good and excited for it. So, we have all of these trains, right? They're bringing ores. Ideally, I need somewhere to take the ores, somewhere to sell them. My original thought was to build a long rail line out to some, ore marketplace, trade station, whatever they call them. Do that, and that would be the big sort of crowning achievement of this whole thing. But, as I said last time, that's a lot, and frankly, I don't think it's actually going to work. Or if I do, I don't know. I've done trains. I've done long lines of them, and they work. I don't feel like I need to prove that, oh, I can go super, super long. So, what I'm doing instead, I could build a train along the surface, or I could build a train straight up. I'm going to build myself a space elevator, and probably a little pseudo space trade station at the top so that I can claim that I'm selling stuff, even though, that doesn't exist as a thing, but it'll feel good. That's the plan for the finale. I'm going to be using the materials I can gather from my railroad to build probably a self-constructing space elevator. Hopefully, I can actually make it to orbit, or at least high enough that I can feel comfortable claiming it's space. So yeah, that is what you have to look forward to. Maybe it'll be in 2 weeks. That would be great. There's a good chance it'll end up having to be pushed back even further. We'll see how I'm feeling with what recordings I do get done, whether or not there may be an intermediate episode where I'm making this happen, and then the final episode will be, haha, it's done and magical. So for now, thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to check out the other stuff I've done, and until next week, bye-bye.